Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of the YouTube world, CJ Rose is back in the building. Welcome back to the channel. Word is bond, love is love. Like, comment, subscribe, but do all the above. And if you ain't doing anything today, follow my Instagram. Ruger Rose 23 is the place to be. Almost botched my whole intro. But we here, man. We are taking a small break from 2K right now. And this is a video I actually was supposed to make on Thursday, but I didn't get a chance to. So now we're here on Friday doing it. Well, technically Saturday now, but you get the point. All right, so if you've been living under a rock lately, you know that AEW is going through some, can we say hard times, tough times? They're going through something. They're going through something. And possibly they've rectified, but I guess we'll see as time goes on. Now, let's bring you up to speed on how we got here. And we'll start from All Out. So, All Out's done. All Out's concluded. You got CM Punk, the new AEW World Champion. You got the Elite, the new Trios Champions. MJF made his return to the company. Everything's looking pretty promising. It wasn't until CM Punk opened his mouth, and the words that came out were words that should not have come out of his mouth. And he went ballistically crazy. We talking shots everywhere. When I'm talking shots everywhere, my man was going here and he was there. It's like, what was going on? It was a surreal moment, to be honest with you. Punk went crazy on Scott Colton, who many should know as Colt Cabana, who was CM Punk's best friend at one point in time. And now it's like, apparently he hates him. I don't know if Colt hates Punk, but Punk can't stand Colt, apparently. So much to the point that he told the world that Colt shares an account with his mother. If those aren't fighting words, I don't know what is. Like, if that's not something you don't get up and snuff that man for, I don't know. But that's not the only person he aimed at. And not only again did he take small jabs at Hangman Adam Page, but he also talked about the EVPs, the executive vice presidents. And the executive vice presidents happen to be the new Trios champions, Kenny Omega and the Bucks. And that didn't sit well with them, because as soon as Punk was done emptying the chamber, Punk went back to his locker room. Supposedly that's how it is. So Punk went back to his locker room. He was sitting there with Mr. Steele. And then, from what the reports say, Kenny Omega and the Bucks just broke into the locker room. I guess it was an argument, because I'm not about to assume they broke into his locker room and then they just started throwing hands. That I mean, my God. I'm assuming they broke into his locker room. I guess they were arguing, had a disagreement, obviously. And then before you knew it, hands were thrown, punches were thrown, to the point where Ace Steel's wife got a broken leg, Nick Jackson got knocked out, and a chair was thrown. And if that ain't toxic, bro, I don't know what is. I don't know what is. Now, before I get any further, I just want to say this, right? I just want to say this. Mind you, when Punk was doing what he was doing and saying what he was saying, Tony Khan was right next to him. Just sat there and just said nothing. I mean, he tried to lower the flames a little bit, but regardless of it, he was really just sitting there and just looking at Punk and just saying to himself, why is he saying all this? Now, mind you, Tony Khan is the CEO, the president, and the general manager. He's all three. He puts all this is on him. You know what I'm saying? He has this big of a responsibility. When your employees are not only bashing the front office, but airing out dirty laundry, this is the time you kind of muffle the mic and go, let's not talk about this. If you feel some way, let's talk in the back, but don't put all this out here. Like, stop him from speaking. Don't just sit there in amazement like, I don't believe he's saying all this. Like, bro, at this point, Punk is off the rails, and you need to stop him. But this man, it was just going and going and going and going. Tony wasn't even looking. Tony was looking down. Tony was looking here. Tony was looking there. It's like Tony didn't know what to do. I mean, dog, if you're the boss, and apparently Punk has, gives Khan the nod and the thumbs up every time, so apparently they got some type of relationship, you would think Khan would just kind of sit there and just go, that's enough. I want to compare this to the Irv Gotti interview on Drink Champs. I know it's kind of a weird comparison, but if you really think about it, when Irv was getting at Ashanti, talking trash about Ashanti, Rule kind of was trying to mend the flames. He was like, stop talking about Ashanti, stop calling her bitches and all this. Like, he was saying that. Rule was trying to mend the flames because Irv was out of control. Punk was the same. Punk was out of control, airing dirty laundry out. Bro, shut him up. Do something. Don't stand there in amazement. Like, come on, dog. It's like, how far you got to get pushed to say something? Like, you're the boss. It's not like you're another employee. It's not like you're random person. Like, you're not like a random wrestler, whatever. No, shut him up. It's just crazy the fact that he just sat there and just listened to all this and then just let it all happen. Because had he just stopped right there, had he just stopped them at a point, I'm sure. Well, he called Kenny Omega and the Bucks stupid already. So right then and there, I think the shots were already about to get fired already. Like, I already think everybody was mad at that point. But at least at that time, you could kind of mend the flames a little bit. Like, if he said one thing about the EVPs, stop him right there. Stop him right there. Because those are the people that you chose to work with. Those are the people you chose to build this company with. And you just let Punk just talk bad about him like it's nobody's business. And then, I'm not going to say he let them fight because he didn't know. He was still out. He was still in the front. He was still on the podium and all that. He was still there. So he didn't even know. So the fight happened while he didn't even know. So in that regard, I can't sit here and say he could have stopped that because he couldn't. He had no control with that one. But he did have control to make sure the flames didn't get any higher than they were. Because already Omega and the Bucks, they already smell blood. They want blood already. So you kind of have to cover it up and just say, all right, enough is enough. But, nope. Here we are with this. I'm like, I don't even know if it's Tony Khan's fault, it's Punk's fault. I guess a lot of people's fault at this point. So now the altercation happens. We have this fight. It's all over. Kenny Omega and the Bucks are suspended. Pat Buck, who is a producer, is suspended. Christopher Daniels, who I think is part of Talent Relations, is suspended. And Nakazawa, who I don't even know what he does, but he's suspended. Like they're suspended. Like Kenny Omega and the Bucks, understandable. Boom, I get it. Pat Buck, Daniels, Nakazawa, I don't understand that. Why are they suspended for? Bro, unless they triggered the fight, there's no reason for them to be suspended. If they were trying to stop the fight, whatever the case is, if they were in the middle of the fight, that's different. But I don't know. Just wash your hands with it, and it is what it is. Punk and Steel, however, I don't know. They're yet to be determined. As for CM Punk, however, supposedly Punk sustained another injury, and he'll have surgery on that injury, I believe. And among that, he's supposedly, quote unquote, done with AEW. Which I don't understand. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that is. But if any reports come in, I guess we'll know from there. But yeah. All that has led us to what's going on now. And what's going on now is what happened on Wednesday on Dynamite. So Dynamite started with Tony Khan showing his face, giving us a message of what's going on. But as he was talking, the fans were booing. I heard them boos. I was like, oh, Tony Khan's the bad guy right now. Interesting. Okay. All right. So as he's talking, he said the Trios Championship and the AEW World title are vacated. Mind you, those Trio Championships were just put on the first ever champions on Sunday. Come Wednesday, they're already vacated. That's crazy. That's insane. But for the Trios titles, they were contested in a match with Death Triangle and the Best Friends in Orange Cassidy. They actually started the night off in a very good match. Death Triangle are the new Trios champions. We got 2 belts pack. As people have been calling them 2-pack. Which is just like, God. It's like, could we get any more cringy? Can we get any more cringy? As for the AEW World title, it is now happening in a Tournament of Champions. Another tournament. Like, how many tournaments have we had this year, bro? Like, it's crazy. It's going to be contested in a Tournament of Champions. The first round was already concluded. It actually concluded tonight. So it was Bryan Danielson versus Hangman Page 3, with Danielson finally beating Page. So Page moves on to face Chris Jericho, who had a bye to the semifinals. So it will be Jericho and Danielson on Wednesday. And then again, just tonight, Sammy Guevara beats Darby Allin. Sammy Guevara moves on to face Jon Moxley on Dynamite. So we could have something like, it could be the Blackpool Combat Club facing off for the world title, or we can have the Jericho Appreciation Society battling for the world title, or Bryan Danielson versus Sammy Guevara, or Chris Jericho versus Moxley 3. Interesting stuff. Now, before I get into my prediction of who I feel or who I think is going to win. Of course, you had to hear from the man of the hour, Mr. MJF. So MJF comes out there. Cheered like a hero. He has a huge pop. The pop gets even louder because he's coming out there with the Buffalo Bills jersey. A Josh Allen Buffalo Bills jersey. Right then and there, I'm sitting here like, man, this dude's trolling. Like, I'm like, God, he is trolling on a million, bro. Like, this dude right here is crazy, man. He is trolling. Then he's like, Buffalo, New York, the devil is back. And then from here, he's bigging up Buffalo, talking about Josh Allen's the greatest quarterback of all time, which is just the biggest reach I've ever heard in my life. That's a reach. I don't even watch football like that, but I can guarantee you I'll guarantee you that's a reach. But the way the Buffalo Bills are looking, I don't know. They may get to the Super Bowl, but that's a whole different video for a whole different day. But regardless of it, there's MJF. He's just literally playing the role of a face right now. He's getting cheered. The fans are loving him. He's going crazy. And MJF also talked about the fact that he did win the casino ladder match, which means he does have a title shot for any time he wants, which I feel might happen at Full Gear. It's possible, but actually, it should happen at Full Gear if we got a world title match at Grand Slam. So it should happen at Full Gear. In November in Jersey, which I may, hopefully within time, hopefully as the time goes on, I may have money. I may have the money to get those tickets. We'll see as time goes on. But beyond that, so, there's MJF. He's just talking this and there. He's just bigging up. Here comes Jon Moxley, who comes out. And he's just in no mood. He's like, you are full of crap. like I ain't believing a word you saying. You just talking right now. And then MJF turned the switch so fast that it wasn't even funny. Like, he said, oh, you don't believe me talking to these Buffalo Hicks, who, by the way, the Bills suck. Man, took off the jersey, wiped his ass with it through. Like, MJF just turned the switch back. He's now, again, the biggest heel in the game again. And Moxley's like, I don't got the time for this. This ain't the time or the place. If you won't get out this ring, I'm going to make you leave. And Moxley just took off his leather jacket. MJF took off his shirt. By the way, MJF's looking pretty lean. I'm just saying. Like, I know that's something. I know it's random, but it's been about 2.5 months or 2 months since we haven't seen MJF. The man looks shredded. I'm sorry. The man looks shredded. I'm just put that out there. It's crazy. But the man looks shredded. But MJF just goes to the back, and then Moxley just makes this passionate promo that just shows, man, Moxley, you are the heart and soul of AEW. He definitely was, because he's pretty much upset after what happened on Sunday. Not only did he lose, but I'm pretty sure he is upset about everything that happened after the pay-per-view and everything. So he was just pretty much talking about that. And he's pretty much talking about, I'm going to put my blood, sweat, and tears in the mat. I'm going to become champion again because we need a champion that will lead. We need a champion that will do this, and that. When it comes to Moxley, you know how he is. When he gets passionate, when he gets to that point where it's like, yeah, I'm about to lay it on you real thick. That sounds crazy. That sounds kind of crazy. But, when I'm about to be passionate, or about to, talk from the heart, you gonna feel it, bro. I felt every word that man said, bro. Moxley, man. Moxley for world champion. Speaking of the world title, who do I think is gonna win? What do I believe is gonna happen at Grand Slam? And who do I think is gonna win? Well, based on the people we have now, we have 4 people left. Again, it's Blackpool Combat Club and Jericho Appreciation Society. It could end up Moxley versus Bryan, which I'm kind of leaning towards. Or if Jericho beats Danielson, then we got Moxley, Jericho 3. It's like the only two matches I'm thinking in the top of my head. It's either Danielson and Moxley or Jericho and Moxley. Moxley's going to the finals. Because ain't no way in hell Sammy Guevara's beating Moxley. Unless some way, somehow, somebody comes out of nowhere and screws Moxley, which I don't really see happening right now. I got Moxley going to the finals automatically. No disrespect to Sammy. That's my guy, but you're not beating Moxley. You're not beating Moxley. So it comes down to Jericho versus Danielson. They just had a match on Sunday, so they're about to have another match next week. I don't think Jericho beats him twice. I don't believe that. So I'm pretty much leaning. So I'm on Moxley Danielson here. Wholeheartedly, I'm on Moxley Danielson here. Boom. I think Danielson beats Moxley for the title. Because they did have a match earlier. Was that earlier this year? Was this last year? No, that was earlier this year. Yeah, that was early this year. Or was that last year? I can't remember when there's two faces because I remember these two had a match. It was at Revolution, wasn't it? God, Revolution feels like it was last year. But that was earlier in February, or March, I believe. I don't remember. But yeah, those two had a match. And Moxley got the best of Danielson. It might happen. I think Danielson this time will get the best of Moxley. And Danielson becomes world champion. And then boom. Danielson versus MJF at Full Gear. Which makes sense. You want something new, fresh. Because Moxley and MJF faced already. And Jericho and MJF faced already. So I think the plan is Danielson versus MJF at Full Gear. With MJF taking the title. Which means within this year, I think we're going to have 5 new world champions. Which makes this year for AEW completely insane. Well, that's what it's looking like. Now everybody's saying, oh, AEW did a great job on Dynamite. Oh, they came together, this, that, and the third. Listen. If Khan did not have the professionals that he does in that locker room, I don't know how well all this would have went. Because you got Jericho, who's just been around some of the greats. So he kind of knows his way around. He's kind of the locker room leader, which I pretty much guess. Moxley could be a locker room leader himself, you got Bryan Danielson as well, who could be what I'm saying? You got a good amount of people that kind of can hold each other down and hold them accountable for their actions and whatever. But I hope Khan learned from this experience that just you're the man. Like everything revolves around you. You have to be the one to, you know what I'm saying? Like just you got to be that guy. So be that guy. But yeah, I mean, so far everything is mended. Everything is a little balanced. So I think we're good for now. I think we're gonna be all right. We'll see how this CM Punk situation comes up. We'll see whenever Kenny Omega and the Bucks ever come back. Yeah, that's all I got, man. That's all I got. Now back to 2K. But until then, it's been Rose, man. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the love, support as always. On Wednesday on Dynamite, we figure out who is going to go to Grand Slam to vie for the AEW World Title. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So until next time, peace, love, money. Here.